So now we've come to the interesting bit. This is where we turn a stick into a bow. So we've got the stave up on the tiller tree here. For those that you haven't seen, it's basically a little U-shaped holder and with notches cut in at 2-inch sort of intervals all the way down the face. Now we've put on just a temporary string and some temporary knocks on either side, and it's just simply so we can start looking at that curve and how the limbs do. And this is where it's quite useful to be able to put it, lock it in place, get that bow bent, and then step back again. I'm just going to hook this on. So we've got a bit of bend going on the limbs. And then we're stepping back to look at the curve of the limbs and see if we can see any sort of abnormalities or sort of uneven bend throughout the limb. I'm coming behind the camera now just to see what's going on. Now on the right hand limb, it might be difficult to see it, but we've got a bit of what looks like stiffness in the limb here. So I'm going to just use this cabinet scraper in a minute and take off a little bit so we continue to get that nice even bend all the way along that limb. So we want it bending kind of right up into here. We don't want to take too much off the handle. It's really easy to go, well, this is a really straight section, it's quite stiff here, let's take off here, because actually you'll end up creating a weakness here. We want it to bend throughout the whole length of that limb. And again, we've got a bit of a potentially an elbow going on here, so I'm going to take off some material up here and see what impact that has. So we've done that, take it off the tiller tree, and then we'll take it over to our place here. I'll bring you slightly closer so you can see. So we've got our little marks on the wood here. It might be difficult to see in the pencil. I'm just going to use this, which is a cabinet scraper. It's basically essentially a flat bit of sort of steel with a burr on the edge. So if I run my nail down, it catches on the edge. There's a tiny little corner. We're just going to come along and take some of that off. We're not aiming to take loads off. Again, trying to keep that profile. It's quite a long and drawn out process. For me anyway, because it's the first time I'm doing this. It'll be a case of we'll take bits off and no notice, or no change, and then all of a sudden it's going to go, which is not really what we want. We've also got to be mindful as well what poundage we're going for the bow. I haven't set anything in mind, but we've got some scales approach, sort of being delivered hopefully today, so we can start getting an idea about where this bow is sitting at certain draw lengths. It'd be nice to have it around the sort of £50-60 mark, but again, I'm kind of, the main aim for this project is to have a working shootable bow, and then subsequent bows after that will start really trying to aim for a set poundage, and that would be another complication to add in. But right now I'm not too fussed with the poundage that we're going to get. Just take off a section here. You can see it's just producing really, I don't know if you can see it, really small shavings. Kind of working away from the area where it's bending nicely, because we don't want to touch that just at this point in time. And then it's back onto the tree. To see if it's made a difference. Make sure that string's in properly. I'll see what is it peeing out. Then we're going to step back again and have a look and see what we can see. So we're gradually reducing some of the stiffness in that right hand limb here. We start to get a nice curve going all the way along. It's still a little bit around here. I'm sure more competent bow makers than I will see stuff that I'm not seeing, but again, it's a learning thing. We've still got, it's still quite stiff in this section, so I'm going to put a bit more of this to come out. Let's see if that makes a bit of a difference. Again, I'm going to work away from where we think we've got enough taken off. But these pencil marks on is quite useful as well, because you can kind of see how much you're taking off in any one go. So you can always take more off. Can't put it back on again. As you bring it down, you can start to see shapes that weren't necessarily there to start with. So as we start putting the tension on. Again, still a bit stiff in here, but we don't want an elbow to start developing here, so I might take some off between here and here, just a small amount to keep that curve going. And again, now I'm looking at the right hand limb. Is there anything there we can see? Probably a bit of stiffness around here. Try and work out a little bit off that side as well. This time working away to the tip of the limb, because the problem area was sort of starting to flare up here, so I'm going really softly and then bringing it in a bit and then easing off on the pressure with that scraper. It's a lovely tool to work with. You notice I'm not going right to the ends on a lot of this. I don't really want really floppy tips, because we'll lose a lot of the poundage if we do that, and what will happen is you'll get to a point where the bow will start stacking and you just physically can't pull it back anymore, but it'll actually be relatively low draw weight, which is not really what we want. Nor do we want to take it all out of the handle area either, because we'll end up getting that sort of elbow occur and you'll create a natural weakness. So we're starting to get somewhere now. I'm kind of getting happy with this left hand limb. I think here on the right hand limb, it's still quite stiff in here. So we take out a little section between here and here. On the left hand side, yeah, possibly a small amount of stiffness here as well. So we're going to keep repeating this process until we've got a nice curve. So once we've achieved that, I will bring you back.